Can anybody say that dead bodies will be sent for post-mortem? That your lordships are not going to enter into that. They dated the letter 21st and sent it to the speaker, received by the speaker on the 22nd at 11:30 a.m. The consequences. And they didn't go to Surat and Guwahati on the 21st. This must have been pre-arranged. These things don't happen overnight. So they never say that they are the party. Even if that, your ladyship will remember that document on the 28th of June that was read. First of all, let me disabuse you of this whole thing about violence. On the 27th, when we moved this court, they moved this court. My learned friend was there, I was not there. On 27th, a statement was made by Mr. Kaushik, who was with Mr. Chitnis, on the 27th. And the governor is arguing, on the 28th, there was a danger, there will be dead bodies, it will be post-mortem. When on 27th, a statement has been made by Mr. Chitnis, who represents the Maharashtra government, under the supervision of the Supreme Court, can anybody say that dead bodies will be sent for post-mortem? This is the 27th June order. And that was repeated again and again and again. Whereas if I were to go to the newspaper reports and what they have said in Assam, that your lordships are not going to enter into that. And the unfortunate part of it, and I say unfortunate deliberately, the very thing that we wanted to prevent happened. When your lordships did not grant us stay, fine, no issue. But we went to the election commission, we told the election commission that, look, these are the very 39 people whose candidature as a member of the Legislative Assembly is subject to the Supreme Court. So please don't decide this matter till that is decided. No stay did not mean that you decide no matter what happens. They misinterpreted that order deliberately, not the commission, but the other side. And said, no, Supreme Court has said, no stay, you have to decide. And then what did the election commission do? On the basis of these 39, they've got the symbol. Only on the basis of these 39. So what are we here today? Today they argue, now we are the party, because you've got the symbol. So on 27th of June, we are put in difficulty. 29th of June, we are put in difficulty. And then in September, when your lordships passed this order, they misinterpreted. 27th September. The next point, your lordships will have to consider, and I'll be very short, tomorrow, so that we can finish this quickly. Next point is, they have been saying that under the mandatory rules, 7 days notice ought to be given. Correct, How many days notice have they got now? They have not filed reply till date. 9 months. And I asked myself this question, when this court said don't file your reply till the 12th of July, was it 7 days? Is it fair of the court, I'm sorry to say, if that is the mandatory rule, then you should have said 7 days from the date, shorter period. 12th date, and that also in the interim. And 9 months have passed. And then the argument is this is a fait accompli. See the arithmetic. Even if the 16 had been disqualified, you would still be in minority. And I think Mr. Salve was right. That's all speculation. What would have happened, what would not have happened. Maybe the others would have voted in our favor. But that's all speculation. Your lordships are not concerned about that. What the arithmetic is. And see the injustice caused to us, Malas, in this process. So they don't file a reply. Now they say, go back to the speaker. And Malas, there is no one fact which is not admitted on both sides. That they have 34, majority in the legislative party, admitted. We don't deny it. That they were sitting in Assam, they admit. That they sent that resolution throwing out Sunil Prabhu, they admit. That they appointed Gogavale, they admit. And what's interesting is in that resolution that they sent where your lordship said the only two prayers that are made are that Gogavale is appointed. But see the language as far as Eknath Shinde is concerned. He continues to be the leader. The word continue. But how did they realize that the word continue has to be used? Because we had removed him on 21st. And on 22nd, they dated the letter 21st and sent it to the speaker, received by the speaker on the 22nd at 11:30 a.m. So they knew that Eknath Shinde had been removed. Otherwise, they would have said that Eknath Shinde is the leader. But they said, no, Eknath Shinde continues to be the leader. And they backdated that document. So, that's not disputed. That we called a meeting on the 21st, 22nd, not disputed. We told them if you don't attend, consequences will follow, not disputed. On 24th, we had a council meeting, not disputed. They said, but nobody called the council meeting, we'll hold a parallel meeting of our own, not disputed. What is disputed? That on the 28th, the governor received these documents which have been placed before your lordships, not disputed. That he called for a floor test, not disputed. That he resigned, the chief minister, then chief minister resigned, not disputed. That he went to the governor along with Mr. Fadnavis, not disputed. That he was sworn in, not disputed. That there was a trust vote and we issued a whip, not disputed. That they voted against the whip, not disputed. What is disputed? Nothing is disputed. From the beginning to the end, the whole process is clearly political. Clearly political. And whereas I want to know, your lordship knows about it, that a whip is appointed at the instance of the political party and conveyed to the speaker. That's conveyed to the speaker. How is the governor talking about the whip being Gogavale? He's talking about Gogavale being the whip in his communications. He's not concerned with it. That's a matter of the House.
Governor spoke of not
Gogavale being the whip.
Spoke of leader of the house, right?
That also. How is he?
Was the whip.
I think also leader of the House.
Leader of the house, Shinde.
Yes. Not how is he concerned with it? He is not there to appoint the leader of the House or to recognize. Yes. He says a purported appointment of Ajay Chaudhary is illegal. How is he concerned with this? See all this, the letter that he is sending to the Thackeray.
Governor's letter.
Yes. Governor is saying all this.
You're referring to para
Is it
3.
Yes, Paras.
That is the letter to Uddhav Thackeray
Yes. Yes.
for holding the trust.
So why is he? Yes,
Trust
correct.
vote kafa jo letter likha.
Correct. And he's saying all this. How is he concerned? And if they continue to be the Shiv, I'm grateful to your lordship when your lordship asked. If he is the Shiv Sena, then where is the loss of confidence? There's no loss of confidence then. What he's doing is he's recognizing 34 people to be a faction. And on the basis of that recognition, then determining that there should be a trust vote. That's what he's doing. The fact of the matter is, in law, he cannot recognize. And neither Bomai, nor Shivraj Chauhan, nor any of those judgments will come in the way.
The visitor argued towards the latter part. He said that what they said in their letter was that we wanted to withdraw support from the MVA government.
Yes.
So he said this in effect was therefore a withdrawal of support to the government.
Let's assume, Manoj. I will assume that against me. That can happen in any situation, Manoj. Any 2 people, 4 people, 7 people, 12 people, 30 people can withdraw support. They may be members of the legislature. That is why the whole purpose, Manoj, of the Constitution, Article 170 onwards, and to only recognize political parties, the whole purpose is that. That's why Kyoto says, Manoj, that you cannot, you don't have any other identity. Integrity of the political party and the political process. That's why. I will accept all that, Manoj. That's exactly the Ayaram Gayaram test. That anybody can walk out.
The difficulty arises in an emerging situation. This is the question that's been troubling. In an emerging situation, suddenly during the process of the existence of the legislative assembly, there is this kind of a dissension. Take, for example, this very case. So what is very apparent so far as the House is concerned, 34 have come on to one side.
Right.
This doesn't definitely, there's no material that it reflects what happened outside.
That's right.
There's no doubt about that.
Yes.
But in a situation, perhaps is it possible, how does one, let us say the speaker, when such a thing is placed before him, would he also take into account or merely adjourn the case, asking the parties to go back to the election commission and get it proved?
Yes, but that I was going to come. I was going to come to that. Let's forget this case. Let's take a case where people. I don't take for granted what that letter says on the 22nd, that the electorate is unhappy. Your lordship knows, there is not a single instance of any of them making any statement prior to the 21st of June that anybody is unhappy. This is all their statement made, because they are now sitting in Guwahati and they know what the consequences. And they didn't go to Surat and Guwahati, on the 21st. This must have been pre-arranged, These things don't happen overnight. But be that as it may, I don't want to enter into the politics of it. But your lordship is right, It is correct, but that these things will happen. But what is to be done? What is to be done is, if you are a faction and you go to the governor will say, I can't recognize you. You want to say you are the political party? Now forget this case. You go to the election commission. You say you are a faction. I am the political party. Supposing he had gone to the election commission and done that, and then attempted to change, no problem. First, the commission would have decided. In the meantime, the disqualification petitions would have been heard. That's the constitutional. And don't connect one with the other. Then the disqualification would have been decided. Then they wouldn't have been able to go to the commission because you're deemed to have given up membership of the party. And forget, so there may be no dispute at all, Manoj. Why do you say there's a faction in the legislative party? There may be if 2 factions within the political party, each claiming that they are the party. Forget about disqualification. What's the procedure? Go to the election commission. Can the procedure ever be that you claim as a faction of the legislative party to be the political party, get recognition from the governor, topple the government, then go to the commission and say, these are the 36 or 38 members of the legislative party. We are dominant in the legislature. Now we must get the symbol. Cannot be. By any standards of constitutional law, this cannot happen.
What happens in the interregnum?
Sorry?
What happens in the interregnum? Suppose the speaker takes a prima facie view and says that go to the election commission and come back to me and tell me who actually is the political party.
Normally, the speaker will not do that with great respect.
Then he proceeds with 10 schedule.
Yes, he'll proceed.
Then all the 34 will be disqualified.
Yes, why not?
No, I'm just